What do you make of all this?
To punish someone because their name may offend someone, it's just shocking, and it is going too far. Has America gone too far? Absolutely. Blowing up Mount Rushmore, blowing up Stone Mountain because of the statues there.
All right, but it is all the rage, right, to take all these Confederate symbols and crush them, get rid of them, move them, do whatever you can to make sure they're out of our memory and out of our sight. Brunell Donald-Kyei joins us, the former Trump National Diversity Coalition bigwig. Brunell, very good to have you back. What do you make of this push right now? Alveda King said enough is enough.
Well, you know, God bless you and God bless America first. What it is it's basically nobody cares about these statues. Let's just be honest. The problem here for the Democratic Party is that they left the poor and middle class behind in favor of donors and big interest companies. And Donald Trump came in, got those voters. They voted for him, and he's in office. And so every step of the way now, they're using any tactic they can. First, it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Racism, 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 racism. Now it's statute, statute, statute. Instead of them going back to the table, getting back on the ground and getting in touch with the people, they're trying to use fear-mongering and race to, you know, cause problems for the president.
Now, I had asked Alveda King, and I'll ask you, as an African-American, do you find those statues offensive? Now, she lived in the South, in the Atlanta area later on. Those statues are everywhere. Stone Mountain, of course, featuring the likes of Robert E. Lee, Jefferson Davis, Stonewall Jackson. They're everywhere. And I wonder, it's one thing for me, growing up for a while in the Atlanta area, to see that as a young white guy. For you, what is it like? Should they be removed? Are they offensive to you personally?
Honestly, I live in Chicago. I'm from the west side. I lived on the south side, north side. We've got statues everywhere. And to be honest with you, I've never thought about those statues in my life until like my 5-year-old, maybe last year sometime. We were downtown. We saw a statue of a Native American on a horse, and he asked about it. But as far as George Washington and anybody else, no, never even thought about it in 42 years.
That brings me to the next question, Brunell. There's another push to say, well, not just the Confederate generals and types, not just the Robert E. Lees or the Jefferson Davises, maybe defund, I think it was Al Sharpton says, the Jefferson Memorial, because he had slaves and, in fact, you know, had a child with a slave. George Washington, same thing. He had slaves. And on we go. What do you think of that?
Yes. Why don't we just tear up the Constitution and all the dollar bills that we print our money on and every history book that maybe even imagine if you said, hey, Malcolm X had some issues with certain races. We should burn his books. We should tear up any history of Malcolm X. Again, it's all fooling. It's all based on the fact that these people, this Democratic Party does not have a message, does not have what they need to get the people back. And if they continue to go down this rabbit hole of racism and statutes, they should expect to see our president, Donald J. Trump, and the Republicans continuing to have a majority.
You touched on something about maybe there's something bigger going on here, that this is not just about addressing racism or anger over what happened in Charlottesville, that this might be seizing an opportunity to delay or deny the Trump agenda. Explain what you mean by that.
What I'm saying is every day, you know, if you're really a researcher and you go in and you get your own news, you don't just depend on the media, you're hearing about the immigration going down 70%. You're hearing about the NAFTA deals he's rejecting. You're hearing about school choice in neighborhoods and 1 million jobs into the economy and 100 million to Flint, Michigan, where they had a water problem. All of these different, like, Donald Trump is like the Terminator. He's chipping away at every little thing, and what they're afraid of is finally he will get to the inner cities, the billions that he promised to put into them. And once, you know, people wake up and they have vocational programs and jobs and improvement in communities and investment, Donald Trump will not have to talk or say too much. People are going to go out and vote for him in droves across the spectrum. He got 8% of the black vote this time around with that agenda in place that he has promised to African Americans and Latinos in the inner cities. We're talking about maybe a jump from 8% to 50% or more. So that's what the fear is. Their fear is that he will actually
do what he campaigned on. You really think he could get 50% of the African American vote?
believe he can do it if he puts the action behind the words that he said during the campaign about putting money into our inner cities. Absolutely.
Okay.
People want to work. They don't want a handout from the government. They want to work. They want the best education. All he has to do is be a man of his word, and I truly believe that he will win it by a landslide next time.
Wow.
Popular and electoral.
Well, you were saying that before the election, so I learned not to dismiss
And he
what
won,
you said.
didn't he?
He did. You are correct. Brunell
Absolutely. I
Donald-Kyei.
knew it.
You did
Yeah.
know it. You did know it. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Brunell.
God bless you, and God bless America, and God bless our President, Donald J. Trump.